So this is the Blue Ice Stache 90-liter backpack. I cannot find a single review of this on YouTube, so if you're looking for an ultralight multi-day backpack, then this video is for you. So for multi-day trip, I used to use more conventional backpacks from brands like Osprey, Gregory, Norwegian, and so on. But as I watched the hikers and the thru hikers like Jupiter Hikes, Justin Outdoors, Extra Ultralight and so on, I realized that the pack I was using was quite heavy. I think it weighs in at 2.5 till 3 kilograms, which is fairly normal for a 85 till 100 liter backpack. So then I started to explore backpacks that they used from brands like Gossamer Gear, Hyperlight, Sea-Packs and so on, but I couldn't find any pack that was large enough for my needs. So if you have a look at my main channel, it typically evolves around mountaineering, sometimes with camp and sometimes in winter conditions. So for that use case, I typically need a bigger backpack than the hiking community typically uses. So I needed to find a backpack which could fit all the camping gear, survival gear, mountaineering gear, and also clothing for winter conditions. So I was actually about to give up my search, and then I suddenly found this backpack. Again, it's a Blue Ice Stache 90 liter. So Blue Ice, I think that's a French company, and they focus on mountaineering and alpinism and so on. So I didn't really expect to find such a backpack from them. So this backpack, it comes in at about 900 grams. I think you can strip it down to 700 grams. It has one big compartment here. There's a little pouch inside, but if you stuff that too much, I think it's in the way when you try to look for things in the main compartment. It has a top lid. I'll come back to that. It has its pros and cons as well, with a zipper opening. So as you can see, the top lid hinges forward, okay, and it's removable. So on the back panel here, you can see there's added some extra friction here. Yeah, you can see the hip belts. They're quite slim, but they work. It has load lifters, and beneath my bottle holder, yeah, it looks like this. So you have a band here to attach whatever you want. Furthermore, it got compression straps on the side, where one of those you can open like this. The other two, they have permanently fixed, so you can't do anything about those. But you can carry skis, you can carry your sleeping pad or whatever. And on the front, we got these toggles. So two of those. You got the shock cord here to attach your tool. Bit of a handle. So I use this pack now on about 5 to 6 mini expeditions. Well, to be fair, the first trip I used this backpack was actually about 60 kilometers. So that was a nice first field test of this pack. So far I'm quite pleased, but I also have some comments. So now I want to go through what I like about this pack and what I think could be improved. So the most obvious advantage of this pack is the weight. It's super light. I use it at 900 grams and it's way lighter than some of my other packs that come in at, as I said, 2.5 to 3 kilograms. So due to its low weight, I also use this backpack for the summit push. Okay, it will be half as stuffed as this, but then you can use the compression straps, so it's more stable on your back. I think it's quite comfortable, and at the beginning, I think these straps were a bit uncomfortable to my back, but just after a few hours, I didn't notice them anymore. So that means I think it's comfortable enough. And the hip belt also worked. To me, it's not an issue that these hip belts are a bit slender. It actually has the attachment points that I really need. Anything else can go into the backpack because it's so big. So over to the disadvantages, or what you maybe should be looking out for. Okay, so maybe you can question the overall durability of this pack. It's not a bushwhacking pack at all. Also for multi-day technical climbing routes for hauling and such, I also think you need to consider that factor. But since I'm a full-time working dad living many hours away from the mountains, that means it will probably last with me for a few years. Okay, then over to the top lid. Okay, so now it sits nicely because the backpack is almost fully stuffed. There's still more volume to it, but when I use it, it's typically as much stuffed as it's now. But if it's a bit less stuffed, then this top lid starts to slide back and forth. And it doesn't even cover the whole top of the backpack. So let's say it rains, and then you can easily collect a water pond on top of your pack under the lid, which is not good. And it's also dangling a bit back and forth if you use it, let's say, during the summit push and you have less stuff inside of it. I wish there was another attachment point for this top lid a bit further down. I think that would make it more stable and keep it more tight when you have a less stuffed pack. So what I do for the summit push, I take it off and I put it inside the pack. It's a very minimalistic pack. So that means it has no bottle holder originally, it has no pockets on the shoulder strap, and it doesn't have any pocket on the hip belt. So that's why I added this. As you can see, a pouch here, both from Gossamer Gear, and then this camp bottle holder, and that works nice for me. And also, I don't really understand how to use the helmet carry on this backpack. I think it's quite obvious to attach it up here, but how to attach it further down, it doesn't make sense to me. So that's why I added this small transition sort of lanyards here. And that has worked well. And these straps, okay, they work well as compression straps, but I can just fit in the foldable foam pad. So that's the pros and cons. Okay, so any recommendations? I think if Blue Ice could beef up the backpack a little bit with a bit more durable fabric, including hip pocket and a bottle holder and a few more pockets and pouches, I think this could become a very, very popular hiking backpack for those that need more volume than the packs from Gossamer Gear and C-Packs and so on can offer. Furthermore, another nice addition would be to have an access point, a bigger opening on the front panel here to access the content. Maybe that backpack would weigh 1.5 kilograms, but that's still half the weight of the conventional backpacks. So who is this backpack really for? Well, it's for those that are really mindful about the weight they carry. You need to tolerate that it's very minimalistic, no external pouches and so on. And you also need to tolerate that it might be a bit less durable and a bit less robust than more conventional backpacks. But it works perfectly for me and I'm going to keep it. So that's all about the Blue Ice Stache 90 liters. If you have any questions about it, let me know down in the comment. Okay, see you in the next one.